Hello, sir. Welcome, Kamal Niranjan, sir. I'm really glad to have you, and you're the first author I'll be interviewing on my YouTube channel. Welcome, sir. Congratulations on your new book, and I have the book with me here, which is called Hakkaandbukka, which tells us about the Vijayanagara Empire, the people who were behind establishing a powerful Vijayanagara Empire, which we still reminisce even till today. So, sir, thank you for giving us such a wonderful book. I have read your book, and it was very insightful and very informative. And I'm also from Karnataka, and I know that you're also from Karnataka. So you have made our state proud by giving us such a detailed and such a descriptive book. So I would like to know, when did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer, sir?
This was when I was a kid, actually. So two factors mainly, kind of motivated me. One was, as kids, we used to read Amar Chitrakatha. So there also you have the Hakkaandbukka comics. Yes. So even now, I think it's available on Amazon. So yeah, if you could look up, you would know. So that was one motivation. The second one was our syllabus, our educational syllabus, which unfortunately didn't cover much about these great personalities. But for reasons best known to them, I thought, okay, this was something which was there in my mind for quite a long time. And then I thought, okay, why not I take up on this thing? I feel this is like some God-given opportunity, and I'm very grateful for that.
That's really great, sir. So I have done a bit of research on Hakkaandbukka and why they started this empire. So would you like to tell us from your own words why they started this empire?
So as per the story, like if I could say, mainly it was everything basically starts, with in our Hindu mythology with Ganesha. We generally start all the specious things with Ganesha. So in the same way, there is a particular person, I don't want to reveal the person, but many people would be aware of this, that there was a particular saint from the place of Sringeri who was the driving factor for these two brothers, Hakka and Bukka, to found an empire. So there has always been some divine guidance that's been there. Otherwise, you would never have an empire that would last for 300 years. So I think the backbone of all it is, it's divine guidance that's motivated them, and destiny. Yeah.
That's really great, sir. And also there are several theories why they started this empire, that, they have been taken as slaves, or, they have been captured and taken by the Delhi Sultanates. And also even their father, there has been a theory that their father was captured by Muhammad bin Tughlaq. So, then they were converted into Islam, and then they were brought back and reconverted. So there are several theories which are in place, but I am sure that the view for every reader who want to really know the actual reason behind this, they have to definitely read your book. What do you say about this, sir?
I didn't get that. Could you repeat it?
So because there are several theories about why Hakkaandbukka started their empire. Either one is their father was taken as a prisoner by Muhammad bin Tughlaq during the Delhi Sultanate period. And there is also another theory that both Hakka and Bukka were also taken as prisoners, and they were converted into Islam. And they had to again reconvert into Hinduism. So there are several theories which are in place. I believe that, your book is going to give the perfect answer for the, behind this.
Yeah. So like, as you rightly said, yes, there are various theories, but there is also another theory which says that, they belong to Andhra, they belong to Telangana, they belong to Karnataka. So it's all theories. So we cannot just, jump to conclusions and, have a fixed opinion about things. Otherwise, we would not be able to, satisfy different groups. So just keeping in mind that this is a historical fiction. So we'll just keep. And what I personally felt was, this is just my opinion, that what if they really went to Delhi and got converted to Islam and came back? It's like, technically speaking, if they really went to Delhi and they came back and they changed, I think geographically it would be very difficult back in those days. Once you go back to Delhi and again come back to the south, there must be a specific reason why that happened. We don't know why. And there's also another theory, like I said, they were from Andhra and all that. And they said, no, they didn't go to Delhi. They were in Karnataka all the while. So, it's like theories are always there. But I felt at least like put the first step towards, spreading awareness. So that's writing about Hakka and Bukka. Because when we write a historical fiction, we cannot draw from different assumptions and do it. There has to be a concrete, narrative, story structure and all that. But based on whatever majority of the books that I've read, if you could see in the references section of my novel at the end of the novel. So most of the books there mention that they were from, South India, although they are not the historians won't some people say they are from Andhra, some people say Karnataka, but we can take it for granted that they are from South India. They were in South India. And due to the decline of the Tughlaq empire in South India, because Muhammad bin Tughlaq was trying to handle certain battles in the north, so his attention was completely shifted to north. So this gave an opportunity for all the South Indian kingdoms to retaliate, and that's how the Vijayanagara Empire also, all things fell in place.
That's a very great explanation, sir. Thank you so much. We all, most of the readers who are interested in history definitely know that, India was a very, the Carnatic at that time considered both Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu, Kerala, certain parts of, Maharashtra, and even Odisha. So, so I think, when Hakka and Bukka created their empire, it would have spanned several states, and it is prevalent in several states because we know Krishna Devaraya, King Krishna Devaraya, who is one of the most famous kings in the Vijayanagara Empire, who is equally famous in Karnataka as well as Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
And his poems, he wrote several poems in Telugu as well as in Kannada. Sir, how long did it take for you to write this book?
For me, it took almost 8 months, and after that, there was 3 months of research where I had to go through a lot of books to gather the story that is needed, to get the setting, to get the historical authenticity correct. So this you could say probably a year of writing research. So it was an ongoing process. Yeah.
Sir, other than being a writer, do you have any other profession?
I am a IT professional, so I am a software systems architect, and this is something I felt like I should do something different, and it's also a responsibility, right? Like you have to show your legendary people, these lesser known heroes in a proper historical way. So I feel I've tried my level best, and I guess the rest is up to the readers. If they like it, then
Definitely, sir. So we have several history books, but we don't have different perspectives. We don't have the in-depth knowledge in several books. There are only facts which are presented in several books, but we don't know what exactly happened from the common man's perspective, or even from the well-known persons. But they are overshadowed sometimes by much greater heroes. Thank you for this. And also, how do you balance these two varied professions? One is a creative field, being an author. Another is, IT profession. So how do you balance it?
planning.
So how many hours do you write per day in general?
So so for me, like whenever my workload was little less, what I used to do was this novel itself was planned actually, right? Even my research, my writing, everything was pre-planned actually. I have never had any prior writing experience, and I don't know whether it is divine will or whatever, but it really fell in place. It really fell in place, and I had a feeling that yes, I will be able to write this novel. I was able to have that clarity. Again, I don't know if it's God given clarity or what, but I feel humbled to do that. So, what coming to your question about balancing the profession. So, whenever the work was less, I used to dedicate, on an average, I used to dedicate 3 hours of writing every day. I used to keep deadlines for each chapter. So pretty much like a corporate kind of thing. But so sometimes it used to get postponed to the next day because of work and other things. But that was fine for me as long as I had a kind of a rough timeline within which boundary within which I could complete my work. I was happy with that, and somehow the creative aspect also fell in place. Everything fell in place perfectly. So that's why I'm very happy. So,
That's a really great thing. So usually, authors have trouble setting deadlines and, because it's a very creative process, but your way of working is really unique. I haven't heard an author who keeps deadlines and also makes sure they get to it, because, they are like, they have reading slumps, they have, writer's block and everything. So that's a great
I
perspective.
had
So,
my fair share of writer block as well. So I just want to tell that too. The thing is, in my personal experience, I can say, since I've written a book on historical fiction, anyone who is a budding author, my suggestion would be like, I mean, this is just my suggestion, that never lose hope whenever you have a writer's block, because I too had a writer's block. But if your basic plot is like ready, if you know what is your first act, second act, and third act of the book, then I guess all these writers block, you just have to have faith and patience that it's all going to go away and you're going to write well.
That's a great, very great insight, sir. So every author would have been a reader at one point. So which you have mentioned about Amar Katra Chitra and also those comics which inspired you to create this book. But is there any other book or any other author who inspired you to reading and to, whom you look up to as a author?
For me, right from childhood, I think it's R.K. Narayan. We are all from Karnataka, so Malgudi days, the serial that we see. I mean, for my generation, I don't know about you, but
Definitely, sir. I have seen it obtained number of times, and I loved especially the first 20 episodes, which was directed by Shankar Nag sir. I'm a huge fan of it, whether it is the kid stories. Everything has a soul and everything has a meaning in it, and it has Indianness in it, and which is very warm to watch. I love it, sir. I have seen several times. And I'm not so different from your generation. Maybe I'm also from your generation, or
oh, nice.
so.
Nice to hear that.
Yes, sir.
So,
and what about your family's support, sir? How have they, what is their reaction when you told that, you're going to write a book? Was it a surprise? Or, were they waiting for, were they, used to you reading several books? Oh.
they know that I read books because I prefer Indian history and mythology. Those are my favorite topics. And my mother was also a history teacher in school. So probably that all kind of worked in my subconscious as a kid, and that's why I wrote. But none of them in my house knew that I was going to write a book, because all my office hours, I used to spare some time, and this was before the COVID time actually. Okay. So before the COVID, I used to go to office, and I used to have 6 hours of commute. You know how Bangalore traffic is.
Yes, definitely, sir.
So what I used to do was I used to, take my laptop and I used to sit in the bus and, write some notes and gather some information or do something which would, help the novel in some shape or form. So I used to do all of that, and that's how, just utilizing time. And when I came up with my first draft, it was only then that I told people, like, I've written a book like this, and everyone was like, what?
I'm sure it would have been a surprise, and I want to know what was your mother's reaction when you gave your first draft, or the book, the finished book, to your mother. I'm sure she must be.
Yeah, she was very happy. She was very, very happy. She felt proud, like, I hope you've done everything correctly, because she's a history teacher. She's very critical about things. Have you mentioned the dates correctly?
That would have
like
been
all mothers, right?
Yeah, sir. And also, being a history teacher, your own son writing a book on, history, something which is very, which is a great moment for every parent, sir. And I'm sure your mother would have been really proud. And that's great, sir. Sir, you told about Indian history books. So what is your favorite history book, Indian history book so far?
With regards to this particular topic,
in general, sir. In general.
For me, as part of this project only, I can say, so there were a couple of books actually, which I've also mentioned in my reference section. So one is basically called A Forgotten Empire by Robert Sewell. That's the go-to book for all, Vijayanagara history. So that is where, the basics, you get your basics right. That is one book. And the major book was that really influenced the culture and lifestyle of Vijayanagara Empire. I just have the list of names with me handy so that I get it right. Yeah, because you're quoting some other historian's book, so you should be correct in saying that. So the other one was basically Administration and Social Life under Vijayanagar by T.V. Mahalingam. So you can look up all these in the reference section of your copy. It's there. And the other one which really blew my mind was the Madurai Sultanate. I never knew there was something called the Madurai Sultanate by Sandeep Balakrishna.
Okay.
So this is something, these three books which really, impressed me. And this is all very specific to Hakkaandbukka, the early Vijayanagara times, which was also very important for my research. And I also got a chance to read a 14th century poem called Madhura Vijayam by Bukka's daughter-in-law, who is called Ganga Devi. So I got a chance to pick the last copy of that.
Wow.
And somehow I grabbed it, and these three books, history books, or something which.
Yeah, wow. I can connect to you as a reader, sir, to pick up the last copy of a book of a, which is very valuable. I can really understand your excitement for that. And sir, I have, as a kid, when I grew up, I always heard that, Vijayanagara Empire, when you walk into the streets of Vijayanagara Empire, it was filled with diamonds and gold. They used to sell in the markets. Have you read, during your research, have you read anything about that?
Yeah, definitely. So there are some travelers from abroad, right? Like from Portugal and Italy. So as you mentioned, there was a historian at that time called Ferishta. So he, as you rightly mentioned, during Krishnadevaraya's time, I guess, he had mentioned about all these things. And also Niccoli Conti also mentioned, during Devaraya's time, how the richness of Vijayanagara Empire. Yeah, they used to sell rubies and diamonds on the market. Like that is something amazing.
Yes, definitely. So, sir, we have spoken so much about your book, and I'm sure I also got to know that your book is a one of the bestseller, and there are hardly any copies left. I guess there are only 2 or 1 copy left for your book. So it's gonna be again reprint. Congratulations for that. That's a dream run for any debut author. And guys, I'm gonna do a video review of the book very soon. Sir, and what is gonna be your next book? Are you planning to write your next book?
Oh, there are a lot of exciting ideas. There is a female-centric character that I'm thinking about in the same historical genre. But it's just that if I get time and if destiny or divine will permits, I'll probably write one.
Definitely, sir. So you told that you dedicate time, and there was not much of writer's block. So of course there must be you are destined to be an author. So it doesn't come easily. The words doesn't flow easily. If it's not. So I wish you all the best, and I'm looking forward to read your book, especially on the female protagonist. And it would be great if you could give us a little more clue about who it might be.
It's not yet in any proper shape, but I'm really excited for the same reason that it's a female protagonist, because I've never tried this is okay male. That's what generally a lot of writers go for. Yeah, there's a very strong female protagonist. That's the only thing I can say.
So
and this is also from Karnataka.
That was my next question. Is she from Karnataka? So now you have written such a great book about Karnataka, Hakkaandbukka, who actually defined our Karnataka history. So is the book available in Kannada, or are you planning to print it in Kannada language so that it is accessible to several people who read Kannada literature? Yeah,
actually, I have aspirations to do that. But if someone is willing, or I'm always okay to get in touch with them and probably translate it. Yeah, we could probably do that.
That would be a great way, so for people to reach, and also the government also can encourage students in their schools to pick up this book, and it can even be part of the curriculum. That would be a great way, sir. So, sir, would you like to give any clues for the budding authors in the country? Because there are several aspiring authors who don't know how to publish a book, who don't know how to go about, and who don't know what are the nuances of getting their book out there. So would you give any suggestions to the budding authors?
Yeah, the first thing is, whenever you're choosing a subject or whatever genre it may be, if you're very clear about what you want to convey, if your vision is clear and you have faith in your vision and a little bit of patience, you'll definitely be on the road to success. That's the basic mindset any budding author should have. Never feel disheartened, and never feel bogged down by any writer's block. Because I too had my fair share of writer's block, and I also used to feel demotivated at times. Used to be exhausting as well, because it's very consuming. Writing is a very self-consuming thing. You completely zone out and you kind of get into that particular mindset, right? So all those things will be there, but that's the part of the fun. So it's part of the journey. And regarding publishing, yes, it's all about networking, just like how we get to know each other on social media. So yeah, I think it's even more easier. But yeah, you need to also use your discretion to filter the right people to get your project moving, and always have an editor. Always choose a good editor who retains the soul of whatever you have written. So yeah, these two are very important.
Those are very great suggestions you have given, sir. And sir, what is one thing you learned from this book? Like every author has something they learn from this book, right? So you have done a lot of research for this book. So what is one thing which surprised you, and one thing you learned from writing this book, which you will cherish throughout your life?
One is, I'm happy that at least I have done my little teeny weeny bit of contribution back to history in some shape or form. I mean, I'm not qualified enough to write a history textbook, but at least I can do something, within my capacity or my space. And I felt probably writing a novel would be like a humble contribution that I can do to, spread awareness. And I hope to a great extent, and also through your YouTube channel, the social media platform, I hope I can, help elevate it to a wider audience. So that is the most nice feeling for me. And yeah, that's what I feel always like. Okay, at least I did my bit. So I'm thankful for that opportunity.
Sir, as I have already mentioned, there are very few historical writers who actually do proper fact checking, and who actually give a very quality content. Either it is biased on one or the other basis. But when I have read your book, I felt that it was not biased in any way, but you presented the facts and the plot line in a very beautiful way. And I love the language and the simplicity of it, as well as the vivid nature with which you presented your thoughts and the entire story. So I would urge the readers also to pick up Sir's book. And I'll also be playing the trailer of the book which Sir has published on his YouTube channel. So it will be playing after this. So guys, please do check out Sir's book. I have my copy, so grab the copies before they sail out. And sir, any other last words, or anything you want to tell to the audience?
I'm happy that this project has come in your hands. And culture. So I hope I made a very small impression in people's minds, and I hope the reading experience will remain forever in people's hearts. That's all.
Thank you, sir. And I want to say one thing. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಮಾಡಿದೀರಾ ಸರ್. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಶುಭಕಾಮ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಿಮ್ ಬುಕ್ ಇನ್ನ ತುಂಬಾ ಫೇಮಸ್ ಆಗ್ಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ನಾನು ತಿಳ್ಕೊಂತಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ನನ್ಗೆ ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಆದ್ರೆ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ತುಂಬಾ ಮಾತಾಡಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ನನ್ನ ಕ್ಷಮಿಸಿ ಏನಾದ್ರೂ ಮಿಸ್ಟೇಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಾನು. ಸೊ ಇವನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಕನ್ನಡ ವ್ಯೂವರ್ಸ್, ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಈ ಬುಕ್ ತಗೋರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲಾರು ಈ ಬುಕ್ ಓದ್ರಿ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೂ ಹೇಳ್ರಿ. ತುಂಬಾ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗಿ ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಸರ್. ಓಕೆ ಸರ್. Thank you so much for coming to my show, my small YouTube channel. I'm really humbled that you agreed to come here and spare your time in your busy schedule. Thank you so much, sir. And I'll be posting the video soon, review soon. Thank you, sir. Take care, sir.
Thank you. Yes. Have a nice day.